The situation in Urlings was one that was quite challenging. What happened 3 occasions prior to the consideration of this project, we had Ghaut and boulders washing down into the community, and it became a real nuisance. In addition to that, the cost of cleanup was getting more expensive every time there was a land slippage. And so we implemented the project. We had discussion with stakeholders like Public Works, the community, utility company, environment, and it was agreed that we should try and stop the boulder upstream as opposed to allowing it to wash down into the community. The design was done by Public Works, and just before the actual construction work started, while they were doing the excavation and clearing, it was decided to reinforce what was designed by putting in additional catchment pits upstream, so that it would capture the boulders at different intervals as they wash downstream. That was done, and it worked quite well, because I think it was 2 weeks after the initial clearing took place and the pits were in, we noticed that quite a bit of material was captured upstream. The construction went relatively well, and I can tell you there have been one heavy downpour after the project was implemented, and the residents seems to be quite happy, because all that passed through the entrapment was water. There were no boulders. The intent was to reduce significantly the amount of boulders that will wash down in the community. I am keeping my fingers crossed that we will eliminate any further boulder and Ghaut sand getting into the area where people live. As a part of the whole project, this was not a part of the actual funding consideration. But at the end of the project, it was decided that we should plant some trees that are indigenous to the area. The local name is wild tamarind. They grow very close to each other, and they can be very thick. And the roots seem to strive in that type of soil. And so it will help to bind the cleared area and to prevent large-scale slipping. That is something we'll have to continue to monitor to gauge its success over time. But as it stands now, the last heavy downpour, which was much heavier than the rains that caused the last slippage, we did not see any Ghaut sand going into the community.
The project in Urlings, what was commenced by Sidema and the Nods roughly 2 years ago. The project was introduced because of the overflow of boulders when there's heavy rain in the community of Urlings, whereby the boulders normally wash right down into the main road, which cause havoc in terms of traffic and pedestrians alike. Since the project was put in place where the catchments were placed on the hillside, the reduction of boulders was seen earlier this year when we have those frequent heavy gut rains. The only problems that still there, those boulders that have washed lower down, those were the ones that roll over into the road, but they're the smaller ones. The actual boulder that was a catchment that was put in is doing a significant piece of work, because since then there's no way that the pedestrians or the villagers alike were able to face with any problems barring what used to happen before. So I can say that the project, by putting the retainers up the hillside, is doing a tremendous work for the people in Urlings district. I want to say thanks to European Union for what came forward with the grant so that we could have the retainer up the hill so that the people of Urlings can be at more ease in terms when heavy rain, it pours heavy, and the boulders are not coming down, the silt are not coming down anymore. So therefore, I want to give a hearty thank you on behalf of the people of Urlings and the district of St. Mary's South for the grant that they have afforded us.